Okay, hopefully this sticks around. My internet sucks today. I don't know what's going on. But basically, I'm rigging the hands. I create a meta rig for, and I set it up to the males. Usually, I try to get all the body parts lined up as much as possible, and then I set the rig up for just the forearm down to the hands, right? And then I do the same thing for the destination rig. In this case, was the female body, and then I go ahead and start moving stuff around. Quick tip: if you're doing this, let me view frame selected. Oh, I need to get a regular keyboard again. When you're lining this stuff up, I just use R for rotate, and if it's too long, I'll just make it shorter because it's a little bit easier. And I'm gonna go ahead and hide the bodies real quick. If I can, where are the bodies at? Why is that body? Oh, this one here. Oops, I wanna bring this rig back. It's a little bit easier if you just line it up first. So I just go around and just try to keep it centered. Once it's centered, then I scale it. Alright, just pick random spots to look at it. From all angles, it should look good. Alright, and you want it pretty much as centered as possible. Right. Once it's centered, then I set this to normal so that it extends and scales along the bone. And then I hit S for scale and then Y to bring that tip to the edge. Right. Cool. And then I just rinse and repeat for each of the bones. I do this with the rig version because depending on what you're working with, you can use like the original Tekken rigs if you want to use those as your reference, or try to match your custom meshes bones to it. But with the bone, in this case, the bones are the same, right? It's the same bones, whatever, you know what I mean? I don't have to worry about naming issues and all kinds of stuff like that. And I get to set up how I want the structure to be. But yeah. But this is close to being tested. I don't know if it's going to look good on the guys yet. I'm worried about the neck seam. I do not know how I'm going to handle the neck so that the necks match up with each of the characters. I do not want to build a custom body for every single guy. There's a lot of guys in this game, and I do not want to do that. But I will release this on Tekken mods when I get the chance, to whatever point that I finish it, right? And then what I'll also do is I go from hand to hand. So I just did this side, and I've got mirror on, and then I go over here and see if it worked, because there are times where I'll do a whole hand and I'll go look at the other side and it didn't work. One of the things to note was when you're doing like mirrored stuff, if I snap this bone to this bone or something, it doesn't mirror that action on the other side, so you want to go ahead and do that. Do all of your snapping first. There's a lot of ways to set up your rig, how you want to do it. I have found out of all the variations and techniques that exist, this one is the most consistent, and when you get used to it, it takes about the same amount of time across the board to implement. So I can kind of like judge how much time it's going to take for this. This is, for me, in most cases, this is the longest part of my rigging and matching section. It's also important to note that when you're using this particular rig, and check whatever rig you're using, but some bones are like kind of connected to each other. So like if I move this, you'll see that the thumb bone moves. So it wouldn't make sense to, if I position this and then do this one, these will all get messed up as I change this one. So I don't want to do that. So the hands look to be good. I'm going to go ahead over here real quick and see if everything's looking good, and it looks good. Ultimately, the bones are not the ultimate like end all be all. You see they don't all match up for everything, which is fine. The main thing is going to be the actual mesh, right? So when I look at the mesh, and I pull up both the female body mesh and this one, I'm looking at, are the fingers and everything lined up, right? That's my goal. And I believe my female body is a little bit slimmer than the male body, but things like this can cause me issues when I do when I start to do the weight transfer. These fingers are really close together. So to fix that, I'm going to go into this bone section, and I'm going to go into here to each of these fingers, and the X is the side to side, and I'm going to scale them down a little bit. Let me see if I select them. There we go, you can see them. So make sure all these are selected. I'm going to hit S, X. Okay, but I don't want them to move all like that together, so I'm going to change this to individual origins and SX. That way I can make skinnier fingers. If I want to make these fingers wider later, like say they don't look necessarily all that good as they are, then I can do that. I can also start to make other changes, like if I want to start looking at, say, the now that the fingers are generally in place, let's switch it to this mode. You can see that the gaps in the fingers aren't necessarily lined up exactly, so I can start to try and adjust that if I want to. I try to keep it within the axis if I can. Let's see, what would be a good way? So here I'm going to try to see if I can just make this a slight bit smaller, see what that does. Alright, and then I'm just going to move this over, and then I'm going to rotate on the axis. See, alright, there we go. We'll move this one on the Z axis a little bit over, just trying to get it centered, and I may have to adjust the overall length as well. So if you just hit R by itself, it'll rotate based on the view. If you hit R and then one of the axis letters like Z, X, or Y, then it will limit it to just that axis. Same thing for scale. Alright, and then I'm just going to scale this guy down a bit. Cool. Oops. And then, depending on how well I did my bones, I can straighten the fingers out a little bit. Cool. There we go, and then this finger looks like it's gonna need to be lengthened a bit. Alright. Thumbs are usually pretty solid. The bottom and top of the hands are pretty solid. Okay, so now what I'm going to attempt to do is I'm going to go ahead and accept this. So there's our female body. The armpits are usually my hardest part here because of this gap, and I'm thinking that maybe if I pull this in, right, so that the body matches this crease, I can get the correct weight. I don't know. I'm gonna try it out and see. I was gonna wait to do that, but I think I am just gonna do that. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna save this because I do not want to do that again. I'm going to apply the pose. I got all these on here. Since I'm going to use the convert to mesh option, we'll hit A, Control A, all transforms. Alright, now I'm going to select the female body. We'll use the convert to mesh because it just applies all modifiers to it, so it should be fine. And then I'm going to, yeah, I think for now that's okay. Alright. And let's see what I want to do. Alright, so for this, gonna see if this works. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm gonna add a shape key to it. I'm gonna call it trap sub, because I'm going to be pulling the traps in. Let's go to sculpt mode, and let's see, let's do it like, keep it like this, and I'm gonna just try to pull this trap, this armpit in, and see what's up. So I'm gonna turn this down pretty low, see if I can just pull this in, and I'm gonna hit Control Z a couple times because I did not have mirror on, and I want it to be even on both sides. So I'm gonna try to pull this in a bit. I'm not super worried about these parts, but those parts I think are important. Everything else should work pretty good. I might pull this in. Oops, let's make this a little bit smaller. Pull this in a little bit like that. Alright. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to go with the weight transfer. I'm going to make sure this is selected, and then switch it over to this. And this one, I think I took all the weights off of it earlier because I don't. Okay, so I just have like these metal rig weights. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all the groups. And now I'm going to just transfer the weights. So from this body to this body, weights. Weight transfer, and then I'm going to use nearest face interpolated by name, and let's see kind of like what it looks like. So let's look at weight paints, and I'm just going to go to the top and just like cycle through them. Turn that off for a second. We'll highlight it. I feel like the breast area needs some work. I'm not sure what I need to do to them, but they just don't feel right now. Like from this angle they look good, but from the top I just don't. I feel like they're too far out or something. I don't know. And then also I got this weird loopy thing that happened, and I don't know what happened there. Ooh. But whatever. Let's go and check these weights out. Spine to weights. Okay, and I'm liking this. Like, this is a good sign where the weights aren't like pushing too far in on the other one, which is what I want for like that lat especially. So let's do the ultimate test, which is to set this onto not these rigs here. So I'm going to go ahead and clear the parent. Good, nothing changed. I'm going to go ahead and hide these. Actually, I don't need these anymore at all, so I'm just going to delete them. Hopefully I don't regret that, but whatever. We got the new female body, we got the male mesh, and this is the male skeleton. So I'm gonna, let me hit that again. Let's hide the male body for a second, and we're gonna go ahead and parent armature deform. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how this works. And that's looking crazy. Let's set this to global. Let's set this to boundary. And there we go. So I don't know. I just really don't know. Now if I turn the guy back on, let's add him back to that as well. Let's see if it's a similar situation. Okay, so his stuff looks crazy too. So because his stuff looks crazy, I'm not as worried about it. I'm gonna go ahead and also not turn a shape key off, but reset it back to 0. Let's see what that looks like. So I don't like this here. I don't know why that's like that. Like, this is a fresh body. I haven't done anything to it, so it's kind of interesting. But yeah, I think that's gonna look good enough. Like, this part sucks. I do not like this. Kind of happened in the last attempt as well, and I don't necessarily know the best way to fix it, right? because I want the arm to come in, right? And I want this to do that. But I don't necessarily like this gap piece. So I'm gonna try something. I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'm gonna try to use sculpting to why does it never, I hate this setup. So I'm gonna bring this down 45, grab this one, bring it down negative 45. Okay, and I'm gonna try to like sculpt out this situation. I'm gonna add a shape key to it in case it looks like hot garbage. When you're using a shape key, every time you add it in, make sure it's set to 1, because that's, and then 0 will be without the shape key. So we'll go to sculpt mode and let's see, maybe some inflate here. We'll get some inflate. Make sure we get that set. Let's. I'm going to set up a mask based on materials. Okay, and then I'm going to go to advanced here in my brush settings and set it to face set. So that should mean, like, if I go ahead and set this to super high and I want to do this, it's only going to affect that area. So it's not affecting the rest of it. Alright, but that's way too high. So let's turn this way down and let's see if I can kind of, maybe not that much, kind of build out this area a little bit maybe. Now, the danger when it comes to what's it called? Yeah, I just feel like this side is just not round enough for some reason. But and then I don't know what happened in these nipple areas. Let's see what it looks like when I put. Let's give it a little bit more weight. And then let's bring this ridge down a bit. I don't know. Let's see. But the danger is when you turn off the pose, like what does it look like, right? I think like that, it's not super bad. I really want to, I'm gonna pull this in just a little bit and see if that doesn't jack things up too much. That's actually probably a lot. So that way when the arms are down, it looks a little bit better. I'm going to inflate this part a bit so that they kind of clip. I'd rather having them clip here than look all funky. And then I'm going to kind of smooth out her back a little bit. Maybe her back's out a little bit too far. And then let's see. And then the shoulder, I want to see if I can make it softer. I don't know if it's going to work. That's kind of what I'm looking for. But let's see what happens. So there's the posed version of it. And normally if you had access to drivers, you could go ahead and set it to look like this. So whenever the bones are in this position, this is how the mesh looks. So it kind of like morphs with it, but we don't have access to that. So I'm going to pose mode and I'm going to create a new pose. I'm just going to call it arms down. Right, and then I'm just going to clear the pose. Right. Okay, so when I clear the pose, this is what I'm looking for. I'm like, do things look funky? And so in this little section here, they do, right? We don't want that like sharp piece, but overall, everything else looks to be okay. So I just want to go ahead and go into sculpt mode, and we got our smooth on, and we try to low strength, and I'm just going to try to smooth out this area a little bit right here. Right, not too much. And now let's see if it still looks good in that pose. Pose. And for the most part, it's good. It's not going to be perfect. It's not meant for this body. So I've got to be realistic. These shoulder widths are just pretty rough to work with. But let's look at let's clear that pose, and let's look at the leg. Legs are looking okay, except for this here. So let's see what we're doing here. So we'll do like a negative 60 on both sides. We'll say 60, and I'll save this pose as leg spread. Alright, and this could just be a weights thing I might be able to address. I don't know. I could try to address it with I'm going to try and address it with sculpting as well. I don't think that's the best option here, but I'm going to just try it because it's one of the easier options. So this will be lat adjust, and this will be groin adjust, set it to 100. And let's go in here. We're going to sculpt mode, and I'm going to see if I can just smooth it out a bit and even it. Alright, it's going to look a little bit funky inherently, just because, but this one probably has the biggest chance of looking really funky whenever I bring it together. This part up here will fix itself in game, so I'm not worried about it. But there we go. Let's go to pose. Go ahead and clear the pose now and see if there's things that are too funky. So this is a little bit funky, so I'm gonna try to do this back and forth. Alright, so let's go in here. We're going to sculpt mode, and now I'm gonna try to sculpt, smooth this stuff out just a little bit. For the most part, oh well, it's okay. There we go. We got stuff going on back here, so it may not be something I can easily adjust. Also, I'm inside the body right now. And I don't mind if it pinches on the inside a bit, but I don't want it too crazy. And that may just revert all the stuff that I just did to it. I don't know. I'll have to find out in just a moment. So let's go ahead and apply the leg spread pose. And it for the most part, it didn't do a lot. So I'm going to essentially turn it off. Right? Like, I mean, it's better to a degree, but I'm going to see if there's other things I can do. So I'm going to see if I can play with the weights a little bit. So we'll go into weight paint mode, and let's take a look at some of the responsible weights. So we're going to use like hip. Let's see what the hip's doing. Right. Okay, cool. So let's go and do some blending here. We'll turn this down a bit, and we'll see if some blending is good. I'm also going to set this to auto normalize for this situation. So I'm not getting a lot of play here. For the butt spread, it usually doesn't become a huge issue in general because the legs usually not spread out like this too much. Depending on the character, I guess you would say. But yeah, so I'm going to keep it at spherical. Like I don't want it to go projected. We're going to turn this way down, and I'm going to try to pull this in. Alright, I'm going to Control Z real quick. When I'm doing symmetry, I like to turn off mirrored vertex groups. For whatever reason, if both of these are on, it doesn't do a good like side to side. So you can see now it's pulling pretty evenly from side to side. And then the benefit of the weights being used over the mesh is that it won't really cause a lot of major deformity. But it can be tricky. This tool right here is it kind of like evens out the weight across things, so it's not necessarily a smooth tool, but it definitely, oops, let's see how I want to do this. And I want to get this pretty solid on the first run. Alright, for this base model, because I want to be able to use this base model in the future. Alright. And I don't think I'm going to get a lot of give here. So I don't need it to be perfect. I just want to get the general shape. Then I can start working on stuff from there. But I think these are the biggest areas to worry about for this type of build. Is going to be the armpits and of course the crotch. Everything else should match pretty well without much issues. So I'm going to go ahead and go to pose mode, clear, and we should have a pretty good working prototype. Alright, nice. I'm going to go ahead and grab my outfit that I have for this. I don't know if I have a shrink wrap on it or not. I don't know which one I'm using. I think this is... I want to call this bodysuit SD for surface deform. I think this one's better than this one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Does this one still have the shape key on it? Or these? Let's see. Surface deform. Okay, so let me hide that for a second. Does this one? Okay, so this one has a different one. Okay. I'm just trying to think of if there's a way to like save this fit so I can use it with like the regular females or not. But I don't know. I'm just gonna make a back of it. Oh, we'll use the backup. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and not unbind it, but apply. There we go. Applied it. two of these on or something? What's this one? Alright, wait. Which is the one I want? I don't know. Okay, this is not the one I want. This is the one I want. Alright, cool. Nice. And I'll just call this MI bodysuit. Alright, cool. There it is. Nice. Oh yeah. And then I'll add details and stuff to this thing later. But let's go ahead and just get these pieces. Oh wait, I thought I applied it. Did I apply it to this one or did I apply it to this one? I don't want to do this. If I accept alright, whatever. We'll just accept all of this. So, oops. We'll do apply. Wait, what did I do? Did I duplicate it? No, I don't want to duplicate it. Okay, delete. Okay, so we're going to apply this and then apply that. So this one is going to be SD or sub SD. Alright, for subdivision and service to form. Alright. Now I should be able to clean it up a little bit. There we go. Alright, nice. Okay, so now I should be able to take these weights and apply them here. So weight, paint, weight, transfer, and now this to these, parent, armature deform. Okay, now this is using the common body, and I don't have any PRP weights. I don't even know where I got this. Where did I get this body? This is the Hero Light body. Ugh. Okay, so I need to grab this. So this is the basic body, the MSL PRP. I'm going to also need I want to get the PRP weights as well. So why does the neck seem so big? Alright, whatever. What do I need to do? I need to grab it. So I'm going to grab this one. And this suit is probably my best bet because I think it's essentially just like a modified base mesh. Open. Yeah, it's essentially like the body. But not exactly. Like it's probably a little bit bigger than the body. I also need to pay attention to how they do their folds and stuff. I got to do a study on folds. I wish there was a real study like by a professional on folds, but I cannot find one. I'll probably sell it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and save this model. Alright, so while that's saving, I like to set up. I don't know if this is necessary, but I do this just for me. So I create a little square, no weights on it. I duplicate it, and then I do a weight transfer, and then I make sure my settings that I want are what I want. So in this case, I'm going to be using an add, and I'm going to use a nearest vertex. Alright, I'm just going to move these guys wherever. ahead and import, I guess, all. Alright, import. Okay, it's exactly the same. Nice. And now I'm going to grab this PRP mesh, and then grab this MSL mesh, and we'll go to weight transfer, weight paint, weight transfer, and cool. Alright, so now this body has all the weights for PRP and whatever. See, I got PRP on here now, which is good. And so now I can delete this body. I don't need it. I did it for this one because this one also has the shape key on it, so I can go in and apply the shape key for the traps. Right, and I'm gonna have to redo the weights for the fix on the weights here. So I didn't have to fix any weights for the arms because of my adjustments, so that's good. But now I'm gonna just redo this, and I feel like I'm gonna try something. I don't know if it's gonna work. So I'm gonna add a new shape key. Nope, not to this one. Let me click on the female body, and I'm gonna add a new shape key. I'll call this weight adjust. And what I want to do is, I feel like these aren't matched up as well as they should, or could be. Some of these I think I need to match up initially. So actually I'm going to go back to this base piece here. Like the feet and stuff should be a little bit more aligned, I think. So I'm going to try to do that real quick. Try to be gentle here. I don't know how well it's going to go. So these are my, make sure I click on the right body, salt mode. Okay, so these legs, and I'm going to have to hide that suit. Where's the suit? I'll hide body stick for a second. Alright, and I want these knees. Wait, what's going on? There's the male body I want to match to. Alright, wait, which body is... Okay, I don't want to see that one. This is the one I want to see. Here, okay. Okay, I'm going to add this here. So this will be weight, adjust, set this to 100. Now I can move it. Alright, so I'm going to try to turn this on. These knees in a slightly better position. Alright, let's get the foot over a little bit as well. Alright, let's get before to do that. Let's get this here. Probably make these calves a little bit crotch line, I feel like I can definitely get moved up a bit, but this might be tricky. Let's try to pull. Hips, I think, are okay. Arm, I'm gonna pull that out just a little bit. Actually, I'm not gonna mess with that because trying to line up this part is a pain in the ass. So I think I'm gonna leave those as they are for right now, and I think I already shifted them by accident already more than I wanted to. And what I'm hoping I can do is use this. Oh my goodness. The guy's got no booty. Alright. So I'm hoping I can get the weight transfer onto the body a little bit more snug. At least for like the legs and stuff. And then I don't know, it's just an idea. Okay, so let's do that. Make sure that this is on and this one's on. So we'll do this, and we'll do weight transfer, transfer. But I have to switch this back to the nearest face, and then make sure this is replace. Okay. Alright, so let's see if the weights came out any better. So I'm going to go ahead and that's not what it's on. It's on this one. And there's still some goofy stuff going on here, so let's do leg spread again. So I can still fix it, but I think it's okay. And what I'm looking to see, can I now also reapply the shape key? I can. So I like that. Some of these things I have to change anyways, like the leg positions I'm gonna have to change anyways as well. But I think that's good. So I'm just gonna do a quick fix on these weights. Weight. Let's go back to hip and I wonder if I just try to bring the butt all the way back together again. Like, would it make sense? think I'll go with that for now. Okay. That sucks. Okay, cool. So I think that's looking good. Um, so I'm going to let's grab our bodysuit again, and I'm gonna go back to our trusty. Okay, I need to get rid of one of these. So I'm gonna get rid of this one. And then this should be, that should be fine. Okay, alright, let's go to surface to form again. And we'll apply it to this mesh. Bind it, nice. That way when I make edits to this one, it'll change, right? So if I go in here and I'm like, kaboo, or whatever. I guess I gotta be on the actual one. So here. See that the shape deformer is trying to match with it. Alright, cool. But I don't have to just sit here with this on. I can go back here and do the same. Where's the body? Okay, so let's try to do this again. So I want our knees to be in line. Want ankles to be in line. This knee should definitely not be bigger than the guys. Right, calf can be a little bit big. Okay. And then let's get the feet. Okay, so I think that's good. I think I'm in a good place. so I think I'm almost there. I keep thinking I'm right there, and I'm just like, there's something. This part is fixed. Alright, cool. I think I'm just gonna have to settle with this for now. Let's turn the bodysuit back on. The bodysuit should still fit after all those adjustments. Nice. I think I do want to try something real quick, and that is going to be, so I'm going to just apply that, and I'm going to add a shrink wrap. Actually, let's add a shrink wrap through Speed Retapo. A little bit easier to control. And I just want to raise this hip piece to kind of get that shear effect that's in the image. So I've got to be a little bit careful. It's a lot higher. Yeah, I think that fits better. Let's smooth that out. I think this part is just gonna have to be manually adjusted like so. Oops. Damn it. Nice. Alright, so of course it needs a lot of texturing, a lot of all kinds of good stuff to it. Let's alt pen, average face area, some nice smooth stuff. Yeah, I think this is gonna turn out pretty solid. Alright, so for now I gotta run. So uh yeah. So wait, I don't know if you know you're still muted. Oh, what's up? Hey, what's going on, Ultra? What game model you're importing into Tekken? I'll just answer this real quick. So this is not a game model. This is the Tekken female body mesh, readjusting so I can create female characters better on male bodies as a better base. So I'm hoping to create a universal base mesh that we can use for the future. Since people play guy characters but they want female stuff, this will also help people import stuff onto male frames a little bit easier, I hope. But yeah, I didn't realize I was still muted, so I appreciate that. And then yeah, Ultra, good to hear from you. I gotta holler at you in DMs, see what's going on. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump for now, and I'll probably be back on a little bit later with the actual test, and then go into the design for that Armor King that I started this all for. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and